Alright guys, it's time to learn about using the end clause. This is another one of those SQL tools functions that we use in the where clause. And this is the query that we were working with in the last lesson, and I've left it up on purpose. You notice here where we've built a query that checks the same field against three values to get those specific ones. I want the records where the buyer's Nancy Myers, or if it's Cindy Lowe, or if it's Pete Hansen. I want any of those three. I run it, I get it, that's great. But there is a special keyword that you can use in this condition where you're running a query against a field for multiple values at once. There's a special function you can use for that, and that's called the in function. And where it goes is part of a condition and a where clause. And what it does is it checks a single field against a range of values. So let's go back to our SQL query here. I want the fields from SKU data where the buyer is Nancy Myers, or the buyer is Cindy Lowe, or the buyer is Pete Hansen. Well, I'm going to show you a way to do this same thing using only one condition. I'm going to leave this up here for comparison's sake. I'll do where buyer, since that's the field I'm checking against, and then I'm going to use the word in. As opposed to the equal sign, in tells it I want to run this a special kind of condition against this, a special kind of comparison against buyer. And then you pass it a list of values inside of parentheses. So just as we did with our individual ones here, you can just copy and paste them into your list. Nancy Myers, and then a comma. I'm going to copy in the Cindy Lowe. Don't forget the quotes. Very important. And then I'm going to copy in Pete Hansen, put in another comma to separate it. So this single condition tells it where the buyer is one of these. I want that list. This where clause and this where clause do the exact same thing, just in a less complicated manner. Notice, let me pull up my magnifier here. Whoa. Go away. That the single quote, the commas go between the values. So it's single quote Nancy Myers, single quote, comma. Single quote Cindy Lowe, single quote, comma. Single quote Pete Hansen, single quote. So each individual value is separated by the commas. It's not just a single. You can't just remove all the single quotes, because then it's looking for a literal buyer named Nancy Myers, comma Cindy Lowe, comma Pete Hansen. That doesn't exist. So let's give this a try. Same results. So likewise, I can do this with department. You notice here that we've got water sports, camping, and climbing. So what if I wanted just water sports or camping? Well, I could do this one of two ways. I could do department equals water sports, don't forget the single quotes, or department equals camping. And this gives me what I'm after, water sports and camping. Or I could do it this way. Department is in, open parentheses, water sports, comma, camping. And notice that I put the single quotes around each possibility. And it closed the parentheses to let it know I was done listing values. Same thing. So that's how in works. See you for the next lesson.